Hey, y'all. Welcome to Conversations with Grace, where I answer the questions that y'all have given me. Now, tonight, y'all, we got some great questions, and we're going to get straight into it. But always remember, I'm here to uplift you, inspire you, empower you, encourage you, motivate you, whatever, and bring you out of that darkness into God's marvelous light. Let's get straight into it, everyone. So, the first question that we have today is about self care. Self care. The first question is, how can I be better to myself in the midst of life challenges? So let's see if you have any more information with this question. You said, okay, so you said, how can I be my better self? Anytime the parental conflicts, that's what we're on this show. We're adding different issues from parental conflicts. So you said I wore baggy clothes and I got told to wear tight clothes so that way everyone would want me. So this is what your parents told you. Oh wow. So it sounds like, how can you better yourself? I don't know. Did that cause you to have low self-esteem? Because your parents were not approving of the way that you wanted to, dress. I'm not sure about that one. That's interesting. But how can you better yourself or be a better you? Basically, you need to evaluate who you are now, right? So ask yourself, I don't know your name, but what do I like about myself? Grace? Well, they also call me Jonna. Well, no, they call me Grace, but my name is Jonna. You can say Jonna or Grace. What is it that you really like about myself or yourself? And so I'm going to start writing down what I like about me. I'm going to evaluate that. Then I'm going to evaluate what don't I like about me. Okay. Let me see what's something I really don't like. I don't like that sometimes I can snap, right? So what does snap mean? That means I kind of went off. Now I've gotten much better with that. I wish that I was slow to speak, right? Quick to listen and slow to get angry. That's what it is. So I'm like, wow, what don't you like about yourself? I don't like how I be snapping sometimes. Okay, what do you want to do? I want to be slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to get angry. Okay, so what should you do? First of all, confess to God. That's what I'm going to do. Lord, help me. What a lot of us do. Lord, I don't like snapping on people. I don't want to be impatient. Help me to be patient. Help me to just hold my tongue. Help me to bridle my tongue. So the things I would say, evaluate what you like about yourself. Evaluate what you don't like about yourself. And then ask God to help you with that. Right? And then sometimes he might show you different books you need to read. Right? To fill your spirit, to fill your soul with what you're working on. So when you get tested in that area, right when you get tested, the words gonna come back. Remember you read this book? Remember you looked at that or you listened to that podcast? Remember you looked at that episode that was teaching you about being quiet? Remember them scriptures you read? So you need to fill your mind with the things that you are working on. So when you get tested, you will have the strength. And that's sometimes just a remembrance. Because sometimes they say, people will be like, oh, dang, I forgot. But if you fill your mind with what you're working on, it's the Holy Spirit will bring it back to your remembrance. And even if you don't have the Holy Spirit within you, because you don't believe in that, a lot of times when you fill your mind with things that you want to work on, it's just already in there. So that's going to help you as well. As a man thinking his heart, that's who he becomes. So just keep on thinking about what you want to work on and go to those different channels that will help you to become a better you, and it will happen. And also you must believe. So the next question is about emotional struggles. And the question is, what do you do when your fiancé of 11 years dismisses your feelings and calls you depressed? Your fiance of 11 years. Let's look at this question in more depth. It says, my fiance, whom I've been with for 11 years, disregards how I feel often and calls me depressed and says I complain and nag all the time. We share 2 children together and they're both autistic. And I'm very sick with heart failure. And well, I'm not sick, what you are. But anyway, so you said you do your best for all of us. He doesn't have to provide for us because we, the children, and I receive state disability and I take care of the household bills aside from the mortgage. I walk on eggshells explaining to him how I feel, and it always reverts to him breaking up with me. I feel bad that I can't express myself without it being my fault. Well, this is the thing. Okay. So I understand wholeheartedly why you still with him, because you got 2 children with him. You said y'all been together 11 years. And then you also said that he dismisses you often. Anytime you try to express yourself, he want to say, I'm done with you. And it breaks your heart. And the thing is, over these 11 years, he already know that he can just say, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. And come back whenever when he don't want to be done with you no more. And so I'm sorry you're going through this, but at some point you're gonna say enough is enough. First of all, y'all been together 11 years. You said he's done this often. Now, my advice, I would end that. I would end that. You already said that he ain't helping with no bills. So if he is emotionally abusing you, you got to walk on eggshells. You can't say what you want. You know what I'm saying? And he ain't even, what I understand. It's difficult raising children by yourself. Even though you say you're paying the bills, it's just that emotional support that you want from that man. However, he's not giving you really what you need. So you stressed out on all sides. You got to make a decision. You can live without this person. You said this is often. Y'all not married. And just what happened if you marry? You come into a covenant. You know what I'm saying? With this person. And now that's a whole different set of advice that I would give you. Right now, I'm saying be done. Be done. But hey, or accept it. You are the one who ultimately has to choose what you're going to do. And so the next question is about fertility and trust. And your question is there a higher risk of infidelity during fertility struggles? A higher risk of infidelity? That's interesting. Okay, we're going to go back to that. Hold on. Okay, so you said, what else you added with this is, what is the possibility of your husband leaving or cheating during fertility struggle? Okay, that was more. And you said from your parents, the difficult or the conflict with your parents is you experience sexual abuse from your family member and not getting the help as expected from your mother. That is awful. Wow. Man, we gotta stop hiding this child molestation and incest that goes on within the family. I don't know why y'all trying to protect y'all brothers who molesting y'all children. I don't know why y'all trying to protect y'all cousins, y'all brothers or y'all sisters, whatever. They having sex with their kids and y'all ain't even saying nothing, but y'all know what's going on. I don't understand that type of loyalty. I really don't. I don't understand it. I really don't. It's not okay. And then y'all over here messing up y'all's children. They growing up with trauma and then they're adults passing trauma on. We got to stop this. We have to stop this. I'm so sorry that you went through that. But to answer your question, your husband, if he married you, he should have married you between thick and thin. So it depends on what type of man you marry, right? If you married a man who already have children, he probably don't even care. Yeah, he might want another child, but if he already got children, then hey, he doesn't really care about your fertility issue because he already has children. However, if he does not have children and he wants children, but he married you, right? It depends on what type of man you marry, because some men, they might be like, you know what? I'm okay with adoption, right? Or we can do, like, we can have a surrogate mom if you're okay with that. And so maybe he might, you know, get his seed, have somebody to carry your child. There are other ways. And just because you have a fertility struggle, it doesn't, in this 2024, it is not impossible to have a child. It really isn't. It's a lot of people who ain't praying to God who having children. I'm just saying that. And I'm not, I always advocate for praying to God about, a miracle, but it's plenty of people who ain't praying to God and they still having babies. And so there, he needs to be faithful to you. What's the possibility? I don't know. It just depends on what type of man you have. Every man is not the same. So I can't really tell you the possibility of that. I just gotta say, if make sure y'all do what y'all need to do. Don't even worry about that. Do IVF. I'll offer the what do you call the surrogate mom. See the different options. He may say, I don't want to adopt no child. Well, it's a lot of good, fresh babies. It's all, look, at this point, I'll be like, wow, thank you. You carried a child for me. Thanks. I'll get the baby and be on my way. But of course, I'm saying this after having 3 children. So it really just depends, It depends on who your husband is. I don't know him. The next question is about honest communication. Okay. And so the question is, how can I speak honestly without hurting my partner and ensure he takes things seriously? That's so interesting. I'm gonna take my glasses off on this one. That's so interesting because they love pulling you being harsh when they be the one who be being insensitive. But how can you speak honestly without hurting your partner's feelings? And ensures that he takes things seriously. A lot of times, I don't want to say a lot of times, but in certain situations, men don't take you seriously until you be really firm. So we got to have a firm class. And also they got to take a class to be accountable about receiving what your woman is saying to you. Stop trying to when she's kind, because I understand what you're saying. When she's kind, you don't take her serious. But when she be more firm and assertive, you want to act like she's being harsh. And so how can you speak honestly? I would like to hear what you got to say. You can ask a friend, a mentor, a parent, a spiritual advisor to just kind of monitor your conversation, not to judge your husband, but to really critique you and what you're saying. But to ensure that he takes things seriously, that's going to have to be a him problem. He got to be like, okay, it's time for me to value my woman. Hopefully you can introduce some podcasts. And what I like to do, I wish I knew your name, but what I like to do is if there is something I'm trying to express to my husband and he's not getting it, there are men who advocate for women's needs and they have different podcasts. And of course, when I show my husband what another man I said, he doesn't want to hear it, but your husband or your partner might be different. But if a man is saying this, then that means I ain't crazy, right? So sometimes you need to get another man who has some authority in a relationship area, or a counselor, sometimes a male counselor, right? And sometimes men are very against that. Some women are too. But a third party needs to come in at times when when y'all cannot get around this lack of understanding. A third party usually needs to come in so that they can be the mediator and help him understand what you're saying and help you understand what he is saying. So let's see a little bit more into this question. So, yeah, you didn't really say anything else except that you were raised by your grandmother. And I don't know. And sometimes when you are raised by your grandmother, depending on what she went through, sometimes she raised you in the way that she's harsh because she may not have healed from different traumas that she went through when she was growing up. So, always I'm going to say get a third party involved, like a counselor or a therapist. Um, Next question is about domestic abuse. And the question is, why does my husband threaten to leave if I tell anyone that he hits me? Because he doesn't want to be known as an abuser. Like, he doesn't want to be known as an abuser. He don't want nobody to know who he really is. And so, if, like you said, why does my husband threaten to leave the marriage if I tell anyone about him because sometimes he hits me? Yeah, he don't want to be found out about. He must hit you real hard. And I'm not trying to be funny, but because, sometimes, if it's like a little tap and he going to be like, well, if you tell on that, then they're going to be looking at you crazy when they figure out that I'm just to give you love taps. But, if he's really like abusing you, I mean, why would you care? Like, I'm asking y'all these serious questions. He the one who beating you up. And I'm not trying to be funny or not, but you should be the one threatening to leave him. And that's why women end up feeling betrayed because they done stayed with somebody who cheated on them. They done stayed with somebody who beat them up, abused them. And at the end of the day, that man ended up leaving them anyway. So my question to you is, why would you want to stay with somebody who keep beating you up? That's my question to you. Why aren't you threatening to leave him? Next question is about finding true love. It says, why haven't I found a man who truly loves me? A lot of men don't know how to love. I'm just say that without reading anymore. But you said, hold on. You said, why has no man ever truly loved me? They are always autistic and narcissistic, and you are a huge empath. So work on loving yourself first. Okay. When you work on loving you first, you're going to attract somebody who knows how to love. Because you have raised the standard. You know certain stuff you're not going to put up with because you love yourself too much to let somebody else mistreat you. They can't come in mistreating you when you've already experienced so much love from yourself. So you have to worry about love, about you and getting your character right and about treating yourself good. But you talking about they always autistic. Why are you always choosing people who are autistic? And autistic people need love too. But at the end of the day, if you feel like after experience with certain people that you have not done well with autistic men, then you need to reevaluate who you choosing and why you are choosing them. So how about this? Stop trying to find somebody who truly loves you outside of you. Start working on truly loving yourself. Okay? And then someone who's healed, healthy, whole, and who knows how to love will come to you. Okay, babe? Okay, so the next one is about friendship boundaries. And this was a weird question. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just saying. It says, can you be friends with someone your husband has had sex with? Can you be friends? Will he be friends with someone who done had sex with you? That's a lot. I ask questions like that. That's just okay. So yeah, can you be friends with someone your husband has sex with? You can. People do it all the time, actually, especially with co-parenting, and some of the new wife, she ended up being best friend with the their stepchildren's mother or whatever. Yeah, you can. Somebody having sex with somebody does not stop friendship. Okay. So if you want to be friends with someone that your husband has had sex with, now if he had sex with her last year, no, Let's stay away from that. But if he had sex with the person like 20 years ago because they had children together, or even 10 years ago or whatever, and y'all just was only married like for like 2 years, you can. You can. And so what else did you say with this one? Okay, so your parental conflict is this. You hold resentment with your mother because she almost died. Hold on. I'm gonna say it the way you said it. You said I hold resentment with my mother because she almost died when I was supposed to be getting on a ship to get married, and my wedding got delayed 2 years. So you hold resentment with your mama because your mama almost died. Because your mama almost died, you're mad because your wedding was put on hold for 2 years because your mama almost died. But you're not thankful that your mom. You gotta tell me what else is going on with that one, because that don't sound right. So if you hear this, please reach out, because I would be thankful that my mama didn't die. And you can, your mama didn't have to be at your wedding, I don't think, right? In order for you to get married. You got to give me more information on that one, hon. Okay, the next one is about understanding relationship. We only have about this one 3 more questions. So, what does it mean when someone says they don't care for relationships, and how can you know if yours is healthy? How can you know if yours is healthy? Look, we getting through these questions today. We ain't playing no games. How can you know if your relationship is healthy? Let's see if you had anything else you want to say with this. You said, what does it mean when a person says that they don't care for relationships? What are the steps to take to know if I'm in a proper relationship or not? And some parental conflict that you have had is when you said you've had a hard time with your parents. They were never together and they never got married. Oh, I understand. So you missed out on a lot of family moments that you may have wanted to have. I'm sorry that you went through that. Ooh, that's tough, y'all. I get it. We're gonna have to talk about that in depth. This parental conflict is a lot. But let's get back to your question. When a person says they don't care for relationships, that's a red flag. If you're looking for a relationship, right? They don't care for what type of relationships, like intimate relationships, friendship relationships. They don't care about family relationships with their mother. They don't care about keeping a good relationship with their children. That's a red flag. For somebody who does not care about relationships, considering relationships is how we advance in this world. We got to have a good relationship with God. We got to have good business relationships. In order for your business to thrive, you need to have good relationships with the community. So that's a red flag. I wouldn't. Somebody who says they don't care about relationships, that's your cue to leave. Okay. And so you want to know how you can know if your relationship is healthy. How does your relationship make you feel? Do y'all argue all the time? Are y'all mostly joyful? Are y'all happy quite often? Do y'all work out different? Do y'all ever have any differences? Because that's kind of, you should have some type of differences with relationships. It's not wrong to have differences. How do you work those things out? How are y'all working out conflict? There's nothing wrong with having conflict. Everybody's not the same. So you want to know, how are you working out issues? Are you always arguing? Right? Do you have joy within that relationship? Right? How does that relationship make you feel? Just answer questions like that. And also, I like to read different relationship books, and not just that, like, different messages on relationships, because sometimes you don't realize that, wow, that's not right. I did kind of feel off about that situation, but you know I didn't know that was wrong. So when you expose yourself to just understanding more about, how the relationship dynamic should be, then you can actually learn some things that are wrong that you thought were right. Okay. So even like looking on this channel, I'm giving y'all different perspectives about different things. And in your heart, you should be able to judge. And you can always pray for wisdom, right? I don't know what you believe in, but if you believe in God, He always gonna give you wisdom. He always going to lead you in the right direction to let you know if your relationship is healthy or not. And even if you think your relationship is healthy, if it's not, if you pray to God and you thought something was healthy, I guarantee you, if he see that it's not, he gonna highlight it and show you a different perspective, right? So that's just my advice that I would give. Okay. So the next question is about body image in relationships. And it says, does weight really matter? And is it the reason I keep getting played? Hmm. So does weight matter in relationships? Yeah, weight does matter, especially your relationship with yourself. When let me tell you something. When I was pregnant with my third child, I had to walk because I also work at Delta. I had to walk, oh my gosh, down to A27. And there ain't nothing wrong with me saying A27. And I was so big and I could not, oh, I mean, I didn't have no energy. I didn't have no, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm gonna do this. Like my body, and that was just from me being pregnant. The way I was breathing so heavy. Does weight really matter? Yes. Weight matters because you want to live a healthy life. I don't know how big you are, but your weight does matter. Okay. It doesn't mean that if you're small, you're going to be just feeling refreshed. But if you got a whole bunch of fat around your throat, because I don't know what was going on in my throat, but it was a whole bunch of big stuff going on, and I had a hard time breathing, and I could barely walk. Like I felt like a whale. And so yeah, weight does matter, especially with yourself, because I didn't want to be looking like and feeling like no whale no more. And I was thankful that same day that I was like, Lord, how I'm gonna do this? I'm thankful that I wasn't gonna do it no more because the pregnancy, it was time for the baby to come out. But anyway, so yeah, it does matter. But the reason you keep getting played don't have nothing to do with your weight. So it has something to do with the person who's playing you. Because there are plenty of 500-pound women, 600-pound women who husband or a boyfriend or whatever love them and would never play them. You can even say 300-pound. You keep getting played because of the people who you're choosing. It's about them being players. It's about them being unfaithful, right? And so if you gave me a little bit more description of what you're talking about being played, I might be able to have a little bit more advice or wisdom and guidance in that direction, but I don't. But a person who's unfaithful is unfaithful, right? That's because of them. It ain't got nothing to do with you. So the last question is quite simple. It's about detachments, and it says, how do you detach emotionally when it's necessary? So how to detach? You know what? I just thought about something, right? I'm not even gonna lie. And this, I'm gonna give y'all a worldly answer and I'm gonna give y'all a spiritual answer. Okay. So watch a movie. Watch a movie. Say if you're mad at somebody, right? They really ticked you off. If you divert your attention to something else that's super entertaining and pulling you in, that will cause you to detach from that situation and attach to something else. Or even reading a book. It's called distraction, right? It's called distraction. Sometimes it's temporary. I remember, I don't know why, I think I was really stressed out at this point in my life. It was probably like 8 years ago or something. And I would literally just play this game. I think it was called Panda Pop. And it just detached me from the world. It was relieving stress, right? So I didn't know what was going on at that time in my life. Like, it was just relieving stress. And so when it's necessary, play a game. Play a game to, de-stress, relieve yourself from that situation. But a more spiritual answer could be listen to some worship music, right? Listen to some worship music. Whenever there's a bad, heavy spirit around you, a depressed spirit, and you're like, I don't want to feel that way anymore. This is what happens with me, okay? Every time I put on worship music, that negative spirit detaches itself from me. It does. And then the presence of God comes on me. And so I'm feeling a lot better, right? Or I can just start thanking God and then his presence will come on me. Or I will pray, right? It's different strategies when it comes to this. There are a lot of different things to do. I remember one time, and I only did this for a season, right? I was sad about something. This was probably back in 2016. I was sad about something, and I would eat a chocolate, was it Nutella? No, it was like a Nesquik milkshake, and it made me feel better. I'm not lying. Like I was sad, and then them negative emotions immediately detached. And some people say that's sinful. No, it is not. Like that was just something that gave me comfort. It's nothing wrong with receiving comfort. Now, if I'm doing it too much, at first, and then at one point I did, and I was like, I don't want to keep doing this no more. So I said, Lord, please take away my desire for Nesquik milkshakes. And guess what? Took it away. So, because you only need it when it's necessary. You don't want to become dependent on these things. Like you don't want to be just, ooh, that was a good show. Now I'm gonna binge watch it all night. Nah, you just need this for a brief moment when it's necessary. Then take care of the issue. Don't try to drown it out with just watching shows and watching books and, just never getting to the root of the issue. Allow yourself some time to, calm down, cool down, recollect yourself, realize that there are other things in the world that I can be participating in. And then once you calm down or whatever, you prayed about it, you watched the movie, you got something to eat, you're in a better mood because you got some rest. Then you go and you take care of the issue that caused you to be stressed out. Okay. So y'all, that was great. Oh, we right on time. Look, we have a lot of things going on. Thank y'all so much for allowing me to answer your questions. Listen, we have a new segment going on. Live therapy. We are allowing y'all to come on and share your stories. Let me show y'all a little bit about this live therapy. If I have anything to show you, let me see. This is live therapy. Just real quick. Like, and that's why I was asking about what type of future are you seeing? Because if you're not necessarily seeing marriage, then technically going down the line, his family can be. Right. And so he want marriage.
Yes.
He does. And so that's on our YouTube page. That's on our YouTube page. Y'all can go check that out. We also, I just showed about our on the last one I showed about Miss Nikki Charm. We got some other stuff that I got to share with y'all because I can't keep on showing y'all the same clips. But we got some more clips that just have not been released yet. So I can't share certain things with y'all because they haven't been released yet. There are a few things that have been released. I just got to put it together so I can show you. Make sure while it's still available, you are hold on, let me see. You know about the workbook that we have. It's still free. It's still up on my website, inspireherpath.org. And also, like I said about live therapy, if you sign up for live therapy, make sure you know what you're signing up for. Make sure you tell me what you listen. I have so many people who I schedule certain things with, like y'all say, oh, well, I was signing up for this one thing, and then you say, well, I really want to live. Listen, we got to keep it organized. We got to keep it organized, and y'all have to y'all got to show up, because look, I'm gonna give like for instance, I've got so many different people on my calendar. I have praise God, and it's not just about I. It's just about bringing these things out, like talking about these important matters, answering your questions, letting people's testimony come to life, like sharing people's testimony. That this has a lot of work behind it, right? It's an opportunity for all of us to learn, to grow. We learn from each other's story. We come through a new level of breakthrough, a new level of deliverance. So anyway, thank y'all so much for allowing me to come on here and answer your questions. And until next time.